welcome back to episode 3 of our Casual WoW Let's Play series. Today we're going to finish off the questing in this zone and head off to new locales. So let's get right into it. I'm eager to get out of here. I want to get to Stormwind, which is the Alliance human capital city. Basically the biggest city for the Alliance, so I want to get there. There's a lot of cool things we need to do in Stormwind, but we got to get all these quests out of the way first, so let's do it. Alright, we're heading off to the second half of this zone, because it's kind of just split into two parts. You do the first half, which is over here, the second half, which is over outside Darnassus, and then you're all done, and you can head out to your next zone, out into the world. We get to actually leave the tree and go out into the real world. So, now we've also, in the last episode, we reached level 13, so now we can tame a new pet, so we're going to keep our eye open for something that looks cool and interesting. Not too much here in the tree in Teldrassil, but once we get out of here, there's a lot of cooler things that we can tame. So we'll be keeping our eye on that for sure. Alright, just over this bridge is our next set of quests. Well, over the bridge and around the tree. Here we go. Relian Greenspire. Or Relin, whatever his name is. Alright, he wants us to retrieve some mossy tumors. That's pretty quick. It's right over here. So, I also play WoW on my main characters. Right? I'm late to the start of the latest expansion. Came out like last summer, I think, but I didn't feel like playing it. I just had other stuff going on. Wasn't in the mood. But since I've been doing this Let's Play, I've gotten the WoW bug back. And the WoW bug is serious business. Once you get it, you know, it's like an addiction. You had that one drink after being clean for so long, so I've got that again. So I've been leveling my main characters through the expansion, and it's a lot of fun. There's a few expansions that I liked, and some that I didn't. Now, WoW has gone through quite a lot of expansions over the years. When I started... Okay, so there's Vanilla WoW, which was the basic game, up to level 60, I think, and it was hard, it was challenging, it was new territory, and the next expansion was called the Burning Crusade, and that's a lot of people's favorite expansions, even to this day. Now, WoW launched in 2004. Burning Crusade came out in 2000, I want to say 7, maybe 6. And that's still a favorite to this day. So, they did really good with that expansion. But I didn't like it so much because, I don't know. I can't really even give you a reason why I didn't enjoy it. Just too many of the same type of mobs and quests, and I don't know, I didn't get into it. But I played it like a crazy person because they had a lot of mounts. Now, mounts are something that I tend to collect. Remember a while ago I said that WoW was good for if you like to collect things and get a little crazy with that? Yeah, I get a little crazy with mount collecting. I have hundreds of mounts, almost 300 now, I think. So, there's a lot of them to go through, and we'll look at a lot once we get the ability to use our mounts at level 20, we'll get to see a lot of them. But Burning Crusade, yeah, that was a good long expansion. I got really deep into that. And then there was Wrath of the Lich King, which is my personal favorite expansion. That was when I had just the best time in the game. I was with a great guild, made a lot of great friends, doing a lot of heavy raiding, and having a lot of success with the game. So of course that makes it more fun. But there was so much to do in that expansion that even when the next one came out, I wasn't quite ready for it, and I had been playing it for at least 2 solid years. So Lich King is my favorite. Then we had Cataclysm, which I don't even want to talk about how upset I was with Cataclysm. And there have been some hits and misses along the way. Mists of Pandaria was the one expansion that I had the most fun in. Well, it was leveling like this, doing all this questing and leveling. Mists of Pandaria was the best for me. I know a lot of people really didn't like it, but there was pandas, and it was beautiful, and it just the architecture of that expansion, the way the zones were built and designed, it was glorious, you know? I loved the look of it. The storylines were engaging and hilarious, and the pandas and the beautiful dragons. I mean, I got really, really into Pandaria. But after that, we had, what was next? Was Draenor next? Warlords of Draenor? Ugh, that was such a slog trying to get through that. And those quests were horrible, and the leveling was horrible. But now we have Battle for Azeroth. Of course, we had Legion in the meantime, but, you know, whatever. But in Battle for Azeroth, I'm doing the questing still, and I'm finding I'm enjoying it almost as much as Mists of Pandaria. So that says an awful lot about, you know, this expansion for me, because if I don't like the questing, if I'm not really engaged with the storyline, then it just feels like a job and I just want it over with. But I'm having so much fun leveling my tunes that I can't wait to level the next one so I can go back and do the stories again. So that's a good sign. That's a mark of good storytelling. You know, if you can do it 3, 4, 5 times in a row and not be entirely sick of it. So we'll see what happens with that. But I just got my big druid to 120, which is the maximum level. And I'm going to start doing all of the endgame content, so there's a lot to do. And it's a lot of fun. And it's very hard even to work on this Let's Play, because all I can think about is, oh, I gotta go do world quests on my druid. Oh, I gotta get this. I gotta try to get that mount. There's so much to do. But we'll get this character there eventually. Maybe not by the time the expansion is over and it's time for the new one. But we'll see how much time I'm going to invest into this. But alright, so we're going to run another series of quests over here. I know I just blew through those while I was yapping, but they're not very exciting. Kill some monsters, pick up some stuff, bring it back. You know, that's kind of the basic of it. Which is one thing I like about the expansion. The quest, the story of the quest actually makes you want to read them. Like, what? What's going on? What is this? There's mysteries and funny things and silly things. So that's missing a little bit from this part of the game. Or maybe I'm just jaded because I've done it so many times that it's not new at all. You know, there is that. You do the same thing over and over for 10 years. You know, you lose a little bit of the childlike wonder. Alright, there's our moon well. Our quest is to fill the amethyst vial. Let's do that first. Then we see there's some exclamation points up there. A couple new quests to pick up. Alright, there we go. Filling our vial. And let's go up here to the tree. This is one of the cool things about the Night Elf zones. See this tree? It's not just a tree. It's actually carved into a bear. See that? And it's got these hanging lanterns from it that swing in the breeze. I really like that. I wouldn't mind to have that in my backyard. Well, other people might, but I think it would be cool. Alright, we got some new quests. We're going to go get some blood feather belts from the harpies. And we have to go get the silvery spinnerets from a giant spider. So let's go do that. I'm going to head off toward the giant spider first. We'll deal with the harpies on the way back. I'm going to try to kill a lot of these night sabers along the way. Not that we need to, but because I need to get my skinning leveled up before we go to the next zone. We're only at level 14 because I've been slacking on the skinning. Also, we got to keep our eyes open for any cool pets that we might want to tame. Now, the big spider that we're going to go get for this quest is kind of a cool pet to tame because it's a little different model than some of the other spiders. But I don't like spiders. So if you like spiders, you can tame it when you see it and then wait for it to respawn and then kill it again for the quest. So you can do that. You can tame your quest monsters, but you just have to wait for them to respawn. Alright, spider should be around this corner. Oh. This is kind of a rare thing. He's not always here. And his friends. This could have been the wrong thing to do. Let's see if we can take them all. We've got a pet. Pet can do it. Now, as we're fighting all of these, I'm keeping an eye on my pet's health over here. Because my pet is tanking these, sort of, right now. And if my pet dies, then everything's going to eat me, and we don't like that. So my pet's health bar is right here. And his health didn't move at all, so that was no problem. Alright, here's the, let's get the spider, and then we'll talk about threat and hunter pets. This is something, if you're going to play hunter, you really need to understand this, so you don't make a whole lot of enemies out in the world. Alright, this toolbar over here that's going up and down, normally if you're on a normal UI, it'll be over here, going left and right across the top, but I have mine over here so it's out of the way. You see this button right here? It's called Growl. Right, your pet growls at the target, generating threat, taunting the target to attack the pet. Now what that does is that keeps the target from attacking you, and he attacks the pet, giving you time to kill it without taking damage. And that's wonderful, and it's great. And that's one of the biggest perks of being a hunter with a pet, is you can have your pet tank stuff for you so you don't die. However, if you're in a group situation, and there is a character or another player who's actually a tank, right? That's a certain role that you can play in this game. The tank's job is to have threat on whatever it is you're attacking, okay? And you want the tank to have threat because then, you know, he can manage it much better than a pet does. Well, in theory, a good tank can manage it better than a pet. However, if you have Growl on your pet is going to be taunting that monster off the actual tank, right? So then the monster will be spinning around, and sometimes if they have, you know, frontal cone type attacks, it can hit everybody because your pet spun it around, and it just makes life really challenging for the tank and the rest of the group. So if you go into a dungeon and you forget to turn Growl off on your pet, you will get yelled at again. Hunters get yelled at a lot, only because hunters have a lot of things that can make a group go very wrong. And if you're not paying attention, you know, you could cause trouble. So if you go into a group situation, if you do a dungeon or a raid, or even later on in the game if you're fighting a world boss or something where there's a tank present, turn Growl off on your pet, okay? Everybody will thank you for that. Alright, we're going to grab Mist. This is an escort quest. So we're just going to run with Mist back to the quest giver. So the way to turn Growl off, you can open your spellbook by hitting P, click on the pet tab at the bottom and see Growl, and if you right click on it, see the highlight went away? You can right click to turn it back on. Or you can do the same thing right over here on your pet bar. Just right click it to turn it off, and once the little gold swirly dots are gone, it's off. Right click to turn it back on. Right? So it's very easy to do that. So be a good hunter. Be a conscientious hunter. Turn Growl off, and people will like you better. That's all. Here's a friend. Alright, we're going to return this cat, Mist, who got lost in the woods, up to her friend up here. Go ahead, go say hi, Mist. Now see, that would be one to tame, but you cannot tame Mist. I have tried many times. Alright, we got some gloves. Let's actually put those on because those are an upgrade. Let's turn in this quest.
I am honored. Go in peace.
Alright, now, oh, we need one more blood feather belt. I wasn't paying any attention. This is the problem with recording while I'm doing this, is I'm not paying attention. I'm just talking. So let's get our last belt. There we go. Now we can turn this in. I think we have two or three more little quests over here, and then we are free of Teldrassil. We have to go to Darnassus, do a bunch of things, and figure out where we want to go next. Alright, we are now level 15. Alright, you see we've unlocked two features, Talents and Dungeon Finder. Now, I'm not going to be doing dungeons during this playthrough, at least for the most part. I might later on because They do give you some decent experience, but I just don't feel like doing it. I'm not in a people mood. I don't want to people today, so I'm not doing any dungeons. But I might go through a couple just to show you how they work. We also unlock talents, so let's look at our talents. But first, let's get out of here. There's too many things that could come attack us while we're trying to look at our talents. Every couple levels, you're going to unlock a talent point. Now, talents used to be a really different thing, but today they're just some little bonus things that you can add to your build as you go. There are general cookie cutter specs, which are basically the most optimal choices that you can make to maximize your DPS if you're a DPS, or to maximize your survivability if you're a tank, or to give you extra cooldowns. So you can follow a cookie cutter build. You can just Google it, best hunter talents for what spec you are. Or you can just look at them and decide, hey, I'm just going to try this. That might not work so well if you're raiding, but if you are going to be a raider, then, you'll know what to do by then anyway, so. Alright, let's look at our talents. Hit the N on your keyboard. Right, now this is our specialization. You see you have 3 specs to pick from. Beast Mastery, Marksmanship, or Survival. Survival was always my favorite. I wouldn't say always, but probably since Lich King. Survival Hunter was just, I don't know, played the best. I liked it. I was very good at it. But then they switched it and made it a melee spec, which broke my heart. It really did. I've never gotten over that. And I miss it and I want it back, but whatever. I guess it's an okay spec. I don't know anyone who actually plays it, but we're doing Beast Mastery because A, it's really cool for leveling, and it's very cool for casual play, because we can get some very special pets later on. So that's the one we're sticking with. So let's pick some talents. Here's our talent tree. Right, that's it. Only 3 choices for a handful of levels. So this is our first row. We have to pick one of these. Now, you have to decide for yourself what you want to do. Some give you bonuses, some will help your DPS, some are just the best for your performance. But let's see what we got. Killer Instinct, Kill Command does more damage against enemies at low health. That's not going to be a bad thing. Animal Companion, your call pet additionally summons the first pet from your stable. Pet will obey your kill command but not use pet family abilities. Well, having an extra pet that's using kill command, that's going to boost your DPS. It's not a horrible deal. Dire Beast summons a powerful wild beast that attacks the target and roars, increasing your haste. I'm going to go with that one, mainly because I use that on endgame on my other hunter, and I really like it. So we're going to put that here on a bar. It may not be the most useful for leveling, because we're not going to encounter too many monsters where we'll need a huge boost like that, but let's use it anyway. Just what I'm used to. So that's it. You picked your palette. You picked your palette. You picked a talent. They're either abilities that will give you a spell, like see I had to put Dire Beast on my bar, or they're passive abilities, meaning you don't have to click anything. It just adds that bonus to your class. So I generally prefer passives because sometimes you end up with way too many buttons on your bars, and that gets annoying. So, but it's up to you. Or look up the guide and do what other people say is best. Alright, let's kill these and get some skins. We are almost done with this zone. A couple more quests. One of them's kind of fun. Let's see when we get there in a second. Alright, so we talked about hunter, pets, and growl. It's a really big deal. I'm sure you'll forget at times. I forget. I've been playing a hunter for many years, and I still go into a dungeon with growl on and get smacked around by the tank because they get very angry. But that's part of being a hunter. Part of the charm of being a hunter is doing dumb things like that and getting yelled at. Hunters are also notorious for accidentally shooting things that shouldn't have been shot and pulling lots of extra monsters, so I've done that quite a few times. And most of that is a result of tab targeting. You see, when I ran up to this spider, he's not targeted now. So I hit the tab button and it targets him, and that's really great. But when you're in a dungeon and there's tons and tons of monsters all over the place. And you hit tab target, assuming that it's going to pick the one you're looking at and it's right in front of your character, but it picks something across the room for some unknown reason. And all of a sudden you shoot it. And now you've got a whole pack of monsters running at you that nobody anticipated, and the tank gets very angry. So yeah, you can accidentally pull a lot of things with tab targeting as a hunter. And I've done that many times. But my defense is, hey, if I'm staring at monsters and they're 5 feet in front of me, tab target should pick that one first. I don't know why it picked something off to my side that I can't even see. But I blame that on Blizzard. Much easier. Alright, let's fill our vial at this moonwell. It's the last one of these we'll have to do. Alright, go turn it in over here. Now this is kind of a cool quest. This is like a vehicle quest. It turns you into something else that's considered a vehicle by the infrastructure of the game, even though it's not a car as such. Alright, here we go. Now, we have this new bar. See, our bars are gone, and we have new abilities. We have Moonlight, which makes a pool of moonlight on the ground. We have Tidal Pull, which draws in everything around you. And we have Starfall, which is a big damaging thing. So, let's get into get some mobs. I'll show you what they do. But we cannot use any of our regular abilities right now. We can only use these. So here we go. So I'm going to cast Moonlight. Alright, I'm going to cast Tidal Pull, pull everything into the moonlight, and it will damage them over time. And that's it, they're done. There's a whole new bunch of monsters, pull them in the moonlight. Give it a couple ticks and they're done. Very simple. I could use the Starfall to kill them faster, but that has a really long cooldown. And there's a boss at the end of this trail that we're going to need that for, so I'm going to try and save it, not use it now. There's also these flower plant things that you can run to, and they will get aggro on the monsters, so you don't have to even kill them. Just bring them to the plants and keep going. You can run down the middle and be careful and avoid everything, although there are traveling packs that will run down, so you can kill all of them if you want, or you can just keep going. You don't get experience for killing these, so keep that in mind. There's not a whole lot of reason to do so. Except when they're all ganged up on you like that. Alright, here we go. Almost at the end of the trail. There's a plant guy. I'll help the plant guy out. No, I knew we were going to pull those. I was hoping we could sneak by. But we couldn't. Alright, and this is the big guy that we have to kill up here. The Bow of Corruption. So, we're going to get up close to him. We're going to cast our Moonlight spell. We're going to do Tidal Pull. And we're going to hit Starfall. And look at that. Starfall's great. Okay. We should go down in a minute. There we go. All done. Now our quest is finished. We got some more monsters. May have to fight a little bit on our way out. And that's it. We are now 99.999% done with this zone. We have to turn in this quest. We have to go see the leader of the Night Elves, Tyrande Whisperwind. And then we are free to leave the tree. So the big question now becomes, where do we want to go to quest next? And the answer to that question is a lot different than it used to be. Because they've added dynamic leveling, or dynamic zones, what that means is, at least in the two main start continents, Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, the max level for those two continents is level 60, right? So if you're questing there from level 1 to 60, more or less whatever zone you're in will scale to whatever level you are. There are a few exceptions, you know, some are capped at 40 and things like that. But pretty much you can go quest whatever you feel like. You don't have to say, oh, well, this is a level 20 zone, so I don't want to go there, or that's a level 50 zone, so that's too high. No, now they're all pretty much whatever level you are. And that's kind of cool. Right? It gives you a lot more freedom. You don't have to, you know, follow the quest so linearly. And if there's zones you really don't like, you can avoid them. If there's ones you do like, you can go do it, no matter what level you are. One of my favorite zones, Darkshire, which we'll probably go do. I'm not sure. I used to get very sad if I would over level before I got there, because I really wanted to do the story in that zone. But now, I don't have to worry about that. I can go there at level 55 if I want to, and it will be appropriate for my level. So, I kind of like that aspect of the dynamic leveling. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to Stormwind, which is on the other continent. Right now we're on Kalimdor. I'll show you a map when we get away from the monsters here. But we're on Kalimdor, and Eastern Kingdoms has, I think, a bit better questing. At least lower level. So we're going to go over there, and we're going to do some quests. There's a lot to do in Stormwind, a lot of things that they don't have in Darnassus, because I guess Darnassus is too small. So we're going to do that. And you can go do all, like, the start zones. Remember where we started way back in the series? That little big tree over there? Little big tree. Listen to me. With my grammar. With that tree that we started at, the tree house. You can just go do all those little zones if you really wanted to. Not too much point, because you don't get good quest rewards, and I don't know, I don't see a reason to do that. But if you like the start zones, you can go do all of them. You can go travel the world and go do all the different start zones. If you wanted to, then you could level. But we're gonna go do the Eastern Kingdoms quest chain, which is, we'll start around Goldshire, we'll go to Westfall, probably going to skip Red Ridge Mountains, and then we're going to go to my favorite, Darkshire. So, that's the basic plan. There is a lot of quests after that in Stranglethorn Vale, but I really don't like that zone, so maybe we'll find something else after that. But, we'll see when we get there. For now, we are in Darnassus. We have one more quest to do. We have to bring this filled vessel that we've been filling up at all those moonwells up to Tyrande Whisperwind in her little tower over here and see what she's got to say. Now, Tyrande is the leader of the Night Elves. I've always liked her. She's got a bit of an attitude, which I kind of like, but she's also peace-oriented, right? Very spiritual and that kind of thing. However, she got pissed off in Legion, in the storyline in Legion. Tyrande's mad. She's mad, bro. And now, after some things that have happened in the storyline that I won't tell you yet, she is really, really, really mad. And I just did a very special quest line for her. And I got a reward at the end of it that I want to talk about once we get to Stormwind, because I was so thrilled. I had no idea this was even in the game. But Tyrande's really mad, and she undergoes a transformation. And when you do the quest line, you get to do it too. So this is Tyrande. She's saying thank you. She is the leader of the Night Elves. Beautiful dress. I wouldn't mind having that in real life. And this is her counterpart, Malfurion. Mr. Stormrage over there. Chief Mucky Muck Druid. And they are in charge of the Night Elves.
What brings you here?
Alright, now I'm going to head out of here. First, I don't want to run all the way down, so I'm just going to jump. Took a little damage, but well, no big deal. Where's the exit? I got all turned around. There we go. It's amazing I can still get turned around in a game they've played for so long, but there you have it. User error, not the game's error, I'm sure. Alright, so there are a couple things we could do. We could spend the time and do the cooking and fishing dailies here before we go. But you know what? There's really no point to that. Because, you know, leveling your professions is just not like it was. We can go do those wherever we want. So let's just get out of here. Bye, Darnassus. See you next time. Alright, now that pink tree, that was a magical portal to this little part. And there is a flight path here. Now here's a word of warning, alright? If you click on this flight master, you see we're right here, Ruthuran Village. You could fly right back to Darnassus, right? Now let me show you. Here's the flight master. We run right through the pink tree again. Here's the Darnassus flight master. If I clicked on her and wanted to fly to Ruthuran Village, is it going to be a quick little 5-second go through a pink tree? No, it's going to be a 20-minute flight all the way around the outside of the giant tree. Right, this is Teldrassil. It's going to fly you from here out into the ocean all the way around down here. But it's going to take forever. And I clicked that by accident a few times. And I was really unhappy. So don't do that, whatever you do. Do not click that flight path. However, we should go to Lord Denell just to pick up the flight path. So let's do that. Over here, there's a little town where if you were questing in Kalimdor, this whole continent is Kalimdor. If you wanted to quest here, this is the next place you would go. So we're going to click that just to unlock that flight path, because later on, way much later on, we may need to have a flight path there. So let's grab it, we'll talk to the guy, and we'll go back and take the portal to Stormwind. Because won't that be fun? Now this whole area of the game, Darkshore, back when in vanilla, again, there's going to be so many, back in vanilla, there was a town here called Aberdeen, and that was where you would go to quest after finishing Teldrassil. And Aberdeen was a great place, and I quested there so many times way back then that you get to know all the NPCs and the story, and you get kind of invested in it. Well, Cataclysm came along and destroyed the town. And one of the quests here from Lord Denell actually is to go to the ruins of Aberdeen and see if you can rescue anyone, see if anyone survived. Alright, so our flight path is done. We've unlocked this. Let's go back. I know, just seems silly, but... so yeah, Aberdeen. And seeing it after Cataclysm, that was one of the first things I went to check on, because I heard that the Cataclysm was going to destroy Aberdeen. That was very sad. And when you get there... See, look, there's a good view of Teldrassil. When you get to Aberdeen after Cataclysm, you see all of these NPCs that you've known for so long. I know that sounds weird, but... And you see them all dead all over the beach, and the buildings are ruined, and it was actually pretty traumatic. And I was surprised that I was affected by this, but I was like, you know, I don't like change. I do not like change. That was one of my favorite towns, my favorite NPCs, and it's just destroyed and gone. So, yeah, so the new town is Lord Denell, and it's not nearly as fun. But I miss Aberdeen. That was very, very sad. Cataclysm was devastating on a lot of levels. Not just the actual devastation of the land and towns, but I did not like that expansion. Nope, nope, nope. Alright, so now, over here, these big long docks. There used to be boats. I'm not sure why there aren't boats anymore, but you used to come out here to the dock and hop on a boat and it would sail you over to Stormwind. But now instead they just have a mage and a portal. So, alright. Let's just click the portal and go to Stormwind. Definitely not as fun as a boat ride. But it is faster. So, here we go. Now this is the portal room in Stormwind. I'm going to pause this for 1 second and I'll be right back. Alright, here we go. There are portals in this tower to all kinds of places. A lot of places we can't get to yet because we're too low level. Places we should not be going to yet because we are too low level. But this is where your main portals are. And note how big this area is, because this is kind of like a TARDIS, this building. Big giant top floor with all those portals. I'm going to run down the tower. I'm going to come outside. Right, we're going to look up and that's it. That little circle. How do you fit all that in there? That's some kind of magic. But this is Stormwind. And I know you can't see much from here because I can't fly here yet, so I can't show it to you from the air. But we will get to see that eventually. For now, I'm going to run down the tower. Alright, we have a lot of things to do in Stormwind before we head off into the world and do our questing. So, we're going to end the episode here. And we'll be doing the next episode. Hopefully I'll get that up in the next day or two, because I'm really eager to get out of this little park area and go level and kill some baddies and get some good loot and do our professions, and we're going to do some pet battles. There's a whole lot to do, so we got to get going. But for now, we'll end right here. Canals and Stormwind. So thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.